Okay.
What's up, guys? It's Demented Caliber here, chilling with S13 the Beast. He's got to work at what time?
To get up at 4:45.
Yeah, so I'm keeping him up for a little bit so we can go ahead and do this video. Now, this series is going to be called Modmouth, and we're going to do this once a week. And basically, just a little introduction. What Modmouth actually is we just ramble about different things. And this week's Modmouth is about overspending for a mod or giving yourself some headroom on a mod. So I see it oftentimes, and when I go to the vape shop and whatnot, I see like new people come in. They buy these like little Kangertech 75-watt temperature control mods, and that's cool and all. But I mean, when it comes down to it, you want to spend a decent amount of money on a mod that's like say 200, at least 200 watts, maybe
Right.
150 minimum, but you want to go maximum to 200.
Right. You always want you always want to kind of get a mod that's got it's going to be pushing more is capable of more power than you're actually going to be using because you get something that's like say you say you want to go that 75 mark, right? And that's what you want to vape at, which is fine. You can get a device at 75 watts, but again, it's not going to run at full capacity because it doesn't have the capabilities of going higher. It's pushing it to the max, let alone if unless you get something like a 200 watt mod or 150, then you're not pressing it up like complete optimal. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
pushing it like at mid range where it's going to be easier for the device to keep up with it.
Yeah, and some like 200 for 200-watt box mods. Some common kits that I see a lot is like the Alien. I wouldn't recommend the Alien just because of all the problems that it has. But a really good kit. Now I don't have the kit version. I just have the mod because they didn't have the kit in the color that I wanted.
Hmm.
So I got the T-Priv, and that was a really good mod, and it's a
Yeah.
really good kit. It comes with the Big Baby Beast. Personally, I don't like smoke tanks for one reason only. Their coil heads don't last long. I mean, when I met
That's
Beast,
absolutely right.
he was on the Cleto. Now I heard the Cleto coils are actually pretty good.
They are the only there is a design. See, the thing about tanks is you're always going to have something that's wrong with one of them. I mean, in some aspect, just I mean, like they're never going to be perfect. And that's even with RDAs. I mean, that's the course that really falls on the person who's building, or I
Who's
mean,
using
you
it?
have right who's using it too. I mean, like it also has design features too, like airflow and all that jazz. And that's the issue with the Cleto. Really, I feel that um, they pressurize the tank too much, which has has it to where the coil actually has a little bit too much to pressure to properly feed itself. So you kind of have to like vent it, like just kind of twist the cap a little bit, mess around with it, and it'll feed. But
Yeah.
again, I mean, that's also not too bad. I mean, like, it's dealable. You can deal with it properly. But I mean, I guess it also means that it's not going to leak out the tank, which is also another good thing. So I mean,
Yeah.
teach their own. The other thing is you got the Beast series, which the Cloud Beast King for definitely even back even when they had this TFE4, a smog tank they have the problem where it over wicks and over like has that basically where it forces the juice in so much that you have
And leaking
problems to
out the
where
bottom and just leaking all over your mott and everything. And
exactly.
that's a
So I
common
mean,
problem, and I see that in vape groups all the time. But we're here to focus on mods. Now, typically, I would say, like, in the case, like, if you're going to buy a mod, like, by itself, sort of like, say, the Chaos here from Sigelli.
hmm
This mod does not come in a kit, so if you were going to buy the Chaos, pick you up a decent little tank with it. I mean, there's abundance of tanks out there. Horizon Tech makes some damn good tanks. I actually have the what is it? The Arco 2? Yeah, the Arco
hmm
2, which uses that flax paper type of wicking, and its flavor on that tank is amazing. But but no, I mean, you can get like spend. I say spend more money on your mod because you can spend more money later on down the road on an actual tank.
Right, and then the thing is, the cool thing about in this time period of vaping, you can honestly get even an RDA and get pre-made coils, just like you would do like with a. They're kind of just like having like a tank anyway, except for that you're going to be dripping instead of the fact.
Yeah, but
So
I
I
mean,
mean,
the payoff. All right, so like you have trade offs. So obviously with an RDA, you're losing that tank section.
right, unless you get
But the trade
an
off that
LTA.
you get back from the RDA is better flavor.
And coils last longer.
Well, because you're not having to replace the entire coil. All you got to do is replace cotton.
Right.
Cotton's like
So I
$5,
mean, like,
$10. I mean, you take a look at a pack of coils. I think it was like 5 for 20 for the fucking Milo 300 coils.
and the Beast King was freaking like almost like $10 for two. Like it was like almost like $11 for two of them.
I mean, I overpaid for the Milo 300 coils, but they last me a pretty good while. I'd have to see how many I have left.
No, those ones will last primarily longer than like a Beast setup. Um, it's just to me, I don't know. It's just like I go out there, you want to get this nice like mod going, you get like the mod that you want within a decent price range, and then you want to get a tank, and then what do you got to deal with all the time? You deal with like burnt coils all the time because
Yeah.
obviously you think I see that's the downside of getting tanks, I think, because it's not like the old clear monitors. Clear monitors you didn't have to work. You didn't. Those things you can last for months at a time. Not saying they were good for like obviously in today's time. I mean, we get more
Yeah, there's
production
hardly
of
anyone
vape.
using clear misers anymore.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like the thing is, it wasn't the fact of like, I mean, obviously you're not going to get the performance out of it like you would do the coils today. I'm not saying that, and I understand there's a payoff for that, but it was the fact that you could have a clear miser for literally like I've had one for like 3 months, never had a burnt hit, nothing. It would just boom there
Yeah.
every time with the flavor, every time with the vape. It was nice. I just don't like the fact that it seems like to get to the like to compete with an RDA, they did a lot of which I think they got to the point where they sacrificed a lot of like uh, um, functionality compared to like actual I mean well conveniences really because like you're to be able to pump with them their coils go out too fast to me anyway.
Yeah. They definitely sacrifice a lot of quality. But back to the mod argument. Another reason why you should spend more for a higher wattage box mod, like the Sigelli Chaos Z, is because with tanks, with the newer generation tanks, they're a lot lower resistant. Most of the tanks out on the market are sub ohm tanks.
Oh yeah.
You don't find too many above ohm tanks anymore. Why? Because nobody wants to vape like that. They don't. They don't. They want the throat hit. They want the nick buzz. And sub ohm, in most cases, a sub ohm mouth to lung is the way to go.
Yeah. You don't even see a lot of mods anymore that really like that aren't capable of using a sub ohm uh,
You mean above ohm?
resistance. Above, well, yeah, well they can do both. They can do both
Yeah. Well.
sub and above. But I mean, like you don't see a lot of mods not being able to do that. Like most mods are what point one, like as low as they can go.
Yeah.
Yours can go down to like 0.05, isn't it?
Yeah. It's from 3 ohms all the way down to 0.05. Now, would I go to 0.05? Probably not.
Right.
Just because I
Yeah.
don't trust my batteries at that low of a resistance.
And that goes back to like battery safety and all that. So, I mean, as the device itself, I mean that's really dang good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's even capable of doing that. I think
Most mods
gives you
don't
more
even go
range.
super sub ohm anymore.
No, I mean, it was kind of a quick here and there kind of thing. Like at first when they first started doing super sub it was catching on popularity, but there was just too many problems with it. I mean, obviously the battery issue, the batteries couldn't handle it. Um, I think it'll come. I think when they design a battery that's able to handle it better, I think that they'll bring it back. But at this point in time, I don't see it because we just don't have
Yeah,
the
most of the
battery tech
time,
right now.
with Super Sub Ohm, you're probably gonna need at least, I don't know. For Super Sub Ohm, you want either two 18650s in parallel or two 2700s in parallel. Because here's the thing, when you're running, all right, so a series box mod, we're gonna dive a little bit on the science of this. With a series box mod, when you're running batteries in series, it doubles the voltage. When you run batteries in parallel, it doubles the amperage. So if you run two, like say 220 amp batteries in parallel, we have 20 and 20, that's 40 amps right there.
Yeah.
And that's where like these super sub ohms and stuff come into play, is with those unregulated parallel box mods.
And heck, there's a build that I just did that was 0.11, right? And that was pulling almost 40 amps right there. So to even go down to like say point 0.5, 0.05, I mean that would be a heck of a freaking amp draw.
Yeah, I mean if I had my calculator pulled up right now, I could do it for you. Let's see. Let me see. Actually, I know how to do it with the regular calculator. So 0.05 divided by 4.2. No, that's not right. 4.2 divided by 0.05. That's 84 amps.
Jesus.
Yeah. So now we have to account for voltage drop and unregulated. So we'll say about what, 3.7 volts. Damn.
Oh, that's that build. That's that.
So we'll do 3.7 volts divided by 0.05. That's still 74 amps.
Jeez. That's ridiculous.
And then there's guys who run their builds that low, believe it or not. Crazy motherfuckers.
Right.
I've seen guys run 0.06, and I'm thinking to myself, well, you can have fun with that. I will stay in between 0.1 and 0.2. And I don't even go down to 0.1 half the time.
No. I try to stay closer to 0.15.
This build right here, and I think I've talked about, I may have, I don't know. But this build I have in here is just a single coil 20 gauge Kanthal. I believe a 6 wrap coming in at 0.2.
Nice.
And that's where, I find that's where this mod likes to be. That could just be me. And I'm just running at 50.1 watts and only drawing about 15 amps.
That's where this kind of wants to be. You know, like I've had this go to 0.15, 0.14 around that area.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems to go through, like it won't let me keep my wicking. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because it's the I mean I have better luck on the 18650 in this thing with the adapter, but with the 2700 battery in it, it seems to want to like burn through my wick a lot.
Yeah. But and it's like goes to say, like, I'm not gonna use all 200 of watts or all 200 of these watts.
Right.
Like I'm at 50.1 on a single coil build, and I mean, look at the fucking clouds I'm getting.
And not to mention your battery life's going to be a lot better when you get a mod that's capable of something like 200, and you're only going to run about 50 to 70
Yeah,
watts.
and that's the thing. Everybody thinks that series, so you have more batteries, better battery life. Yes, that is true. However, you will definitely get longer battery life because not only does parallel also double your amps, like so you got 220 amp batteries that doubles to 40, but it also doubles the milliamp hour of your batteries.
Right.
The more you know. And that's common knowledge right there. That's how batteries work.
Right.
Every type of battery works that way. You run a 12-volt, two 12-volt batteries in series. Well, guess what? It's going to, what is 12 volt? 24 volts.
Yeah, 24. Yeah.
So you got 12 volts. 12 volts. That's 24. You run it backwards, and you have more amp hours. So, I think that's where batteries. He probably knows more about that than what I do. Now, batteries use amp hours, right? 12-volt batteries or cold cranking
Actually,
amps.
they use cold cranking amps.
Yeah, so that's double. But besides the point. I see a lot of them guys in car audio, which just is diving off topic, but I see a lot of the guys in car audio, they'll actually wire multiple batteries. I think it's in parallel. So that way and they'll wire multiple batteries in parallel or series. No, it's parallel.
Series.
No, it's parallel because they don't want to double the voltage. They want to keep the voltage the same, but they want to have a longer lasting battery.
Right. It's a lot of times they'll have them like hooked in like that. A lot of times they'll do accessorial batteries, which is a totally different circuit on compared to where the actual car runs off of.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about, and again diving off topic real quick, what I'm talking about is they have all these batteries and they run it off of multiple alternators. I've seen some guys have like 5-6 alternators under one hood.
Yeah. Although it's not.
But going back to ModMouth and going back to mods, honestly, I'd say this is a hell of a mod. It really is. The fact that you can change the lights, like you take the lights out of here, and by itself, it's a good mod.
Well, functionality-wise, it's a good mod. It's kind of nice with the nice.
I mean, 10 watts to 200 watts. What did I say? Like, was it 200 degrees all the way up to 570 degrees?
Yeah.
Something like that. Somewhere's around there. Yeah, I mean, you guys, I'll put the specs in the description bar below under a link. That way you can read all that stuff. But, I mean, you can go from 0.05 all the way up to 3 ohms. I mean, that's a lot of functionality in a mod for $85.
Yeah. And that, it's... I understand a lot of people when they get like their first mod or a mod generally, a lot of people put budget in there and stuff, but it's like, the thing is, do you want to spend something that's cheap now and just have to get something later, or are you going to get something that's going to last you for a minute? I mean, I would personally, as a consumer, get something that's going to be able to kind of move along with me as I get more progressively into vaping, more so than something that's like right there at my level, and then when I have to go up, I have to actually purchase something else. I mean, that's going to cost you more money in the long run.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, are you guys thinking that you can just get by with the 75-watt mod? No, you can't.
No, see, the thing is, it's like there's points to where you'll plateau out to where like what you like and what you don't like. But the thing is, different resistances and different coils are going to require different fire levels. So to get that same experience, you're going to have some kind of flexibility, because if you want to change like your resistance, or like say you want to try a different tank, right? It's going to run out of different resistance their coils do. So it's going to need a different variance of like what wattage you put it at, what voltage pumps through it at that time. So you're going to have something to be able to play around with to kind of get that same sort of feeling that you would want out of the other one. Like you're going to have to search for it. So you want something that's going to give you a little bit of playroom to be able to kind of mess around with the settings on there to get to the experience that you want to have. Because vaping, if it's anything, it is supposed to be an enjoyable experience. It's supposed to be something that you want. Like it's a leisurely thing. Also, it's a lot. Some people have it as like a necessity thing where they need nicotine or whatever. But and for the most part, it's supposed to be more of a luxurious thing, more so than like.
Well, I actually have an example here. So with this build is 0.2, and I was running that at 50.1 watts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the build, and this is not a very scientific study, or not a scientific way of saying this, we throw this on here at the same wattage, the resistance is a little bit lower. And here's the issue. It's not nearly as warm as that was.
Right.
So I would have to take this up to around 74 watts. And I'm also need to put some juice on there because we don't need no dry hits.
And if we're going on the original model that we're going off of a 75 watt mod, he's having to go at 74. So he's almost trying to push this theoretical limit that we said previously in the video. So again, the mod's not the one that, see, that's
So,
nice.
oh yeah, that is nice. And the fact of the matter is 74 watts on a single 18650, you're going to be maxing out that battery.
Exactly. So
You're going to be maxing out the mod.
Mm-hmm.
Now you say you can go with the AL85, but then again, you still have to compensate for headroom.
Right. Honestly, I would go for like they got that new Pico coming out that's freaking gonna have like a 2700. You're gonna want to do like a single battery, get something that's a little bit more stout than a single 18650.
Yeah, because I mean, at least. All right, so we're gonna change that bar from 150 watts minimum to 100 watts minimum. Why I say that is because you can do a lot more with 100 watts than what most people think you can.
Well, it's gonna give you more leeway anyway. At least it gives you in that um a lot of mods and a lot of things. Especially in beginners, you're gonna be in before that 100 mark. It's gonna be because that 100 mark is gonna be like kind of like a benchmark anyway.
Yeah, it's gonna be like something, and then, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's like you're not necessarily gonna go that high when you first start vaping.
Right, and it's going to take you a while to even be able to even venture that far anyway. And I mean, like, I don't know, maybe like
Unless you're an idiot like me.
well, there's thrill seekers in everything you do. I mean, like, there was people who used to ride in planes, and the thrill seeker in that room, they decided like, well, what if we jump out of it? So I mean, there's always going to be.
I mean, if we want to get technical, I probably shouldn't have done this because this was very stupid of me. We're gonna dive into a little bit to my life. This is Modmouth, so I mean, me rambling on about my vaping experience is part of it.
Yeah.
So, before I met this guy, this was a year ago, before I met anybody on YouNow or anything like that. When I first started vaping, I had gotten like this big old pile of e-juice, like this giant e-juice collection. I had over like 20-something bottles. And some of those bottles, like I couldn't do the 18 milligram by itself, but the 12 I could do no problem. So I got a little ballsy, and I vaped 12 milligrams of nicotine at 110 watts.
Ugh.
Beast is like, I'm just cringing thinking about that.
I've done it before, but that was me working up to it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't just go full blast into it.
Oh, it was hell. Oh, he gave my throat. I numbed the shit out of my throat from that.
I mean, like I've done. I think the worst nicotine to high wattage is I did a 24 on a 60 watts before, and that's fucking hell.
Oh yeah, that's a kick in the dick.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that was the Nick level that you're used to. See, that's another thing you'll get into if you do have to have nicotine. So, I mean, like that's neither here or there. I mean, a lot of times a lot of people actually just do around like what 3 to basically 0 Nick these days.
Yeah, and then you have people like me who still love the Nick thrill.
I do too. I mean, I do a 6 milligram personally. I right now I'm actually on a 3 milligram.
Yeah,
but
see, Beast, I do find Beast has no offense, bruh. But I do find Beast does have somewhat of a lower tolerance for nicotine than what I do. I mean, you have to realize I've been dipping for 3.5 years.
well, I mean, like
And chewing tobacco has one of the highest nicotine contents in it.
actually, well, I mean, like to be honest, I mean, I was vaping 12 milligrams for freaking like
Yeah.
years and years and years, but that was just because of I used to smoke 2 packs a day of freaking cigarettes for freaking almost like almost 10 years. So, I mean, I need to get off of it. So I've been trying to like progressively go down into it. I eventually would like to, what my main goal in vaping is, I want to maintain vaping, but uh, zero Nick is
Yeah.
my main goal.
As far as me, am I ever going to go down to nicotine? Probably not. Just because I have an addictive personality.
Well, I do too. I'm just trying to fight that ability thing at this
Yeah.
point in time.
But I
Just
mean,
different.
I find like, because I'm not much of a caffeine buff. I don't care for caffeine. And in a sense, nicotine is sort of like caffeine. It's a stimulant and all that. And I think that's one of the things that really helps me focus.
Yeah, I'm more of a caffeine junkie.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
a caffeine junkie. I'm a nicotine junkie. We're
I
all
mean,
junkies.
for crying out loud, I'll do like my Molotov of choice, as I call it. My Molotov is two Rockstar 240 milligram freaking dreams with a Fedrin kicker in there with a energy shot.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Don't get us started on ephedrine.
yeah. Well, I wish it was a Fedrin. It's still a Fedra, but I wish it was a Fedrin.
Yeah, but it still makes you aggressive nonetheless.
Well, a Fedrin did. A Fedra's not so bad. I mean, it does slightly, but not as bad as a Fedrin did.
Yeah, but I think we pretty much hit the mark. The point of the matter is, if you're going to buy a mod, spend a little bit extra and get a higher wattage box mod instead of settling for 75 watts and then needing more
Capping yourself.
wattage.
Right. Don't limit yourself. Is basically what we're getting at.
Yeah,
Kind of explore your options. Give yourself some leeway.
because we need need to cut this video off because I can see this fucker dozing off over there. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to him. He's starting to get into reviews on his own channel. What is your channel again?
Underscore S13 underscore the beast.
Yeah, and if anybody's wondering where Taro is, I don't know where the little one is. So yeah. Anyways, guys, this is the Minted Caliber and the Beast signing out.